Top 5 natural bedtime drinks to cleanse your kidneys. Most people think about their kidneys during the day, if they think about them at all. But here's something almost nobody talks about. What you drink in the final hour before bed might matter more than anything you eat all day long. While you sleep, your body enters a quiet repair mode, and your kidneys use that stretch of stillness to filter, balance, and reset without the constant interruptions of meals, movement, and stress hormones flooding your system hour after hour. The right drink before bed can work with that natural rhythm, gently supporting the process your body is already trying to carry out on its own. The wrong one, sugary soda, alcohol, a late caffeine fix, can work directly against it, forcing your kidneys to scramble instead of rest, and disrupting the very repair window your body counts on every single night. Tonight, we're counting down 5 natural bedtime drinks that have been quietly used for generations, some with roots in traditional medicine passed down through families, others backed by modern research published in respected journals, all chosen specifically because of what they can do for your kidneys while everyone else is asleep. A few of these will sound familiar. One of them might be sitting in your pantry right now, completely overlooked, gathering dust in the back of a cupboard. Stick around until the end, because the number 1 drink on this list is the one almost nobody expects. Let's start the countdown at number 5. Number 5, warm lemon water. It sounds almost too simple to matter, a squeeze of citrus in a warm glass of water, but this humble bedtime ritual carries a surprising amount of quiet power. Inside every lemon is a natural compound called citrate, and citrate has a unique, almost protective relationship with your kidneys. It binds to calcium in your urine before that calcium ever gets the chance to link up with oxalate and form the painful, crystallized clusters known as kidney stones. Urologists have long pointed to citrus fruits, and lemons specifically, as one of the simplest dietary tools for lowering stone risk over time, precisely because of this binding effect, often recommending it as a first, low-cost step before turning to anything more complicated. But the benefits don't stop there. Warm lemon water before bed also supports something deceptively basic, yet critically important: hydration. Your body loses fluid steadily through the night, through breathing, through sweat, through the simple passage of hours, and starting that overnight stretch already well hydrated gives your kidneys an easier, steadier flow of fluid to work with, instead of forcing them to filter a more concentrated, sluggish bloodstream come morning. There's also something to be said for the ritual itself. The warmth relaxes the body, signals the nervous system that the day is winding down, and pairs naturally with the kind of slower, deeper breathing that eases you toward sleep. Lemon also brings a gentle dose of vitamin C, an antioxidant that helps neutralize the everyday oxidative stress your kidneys quietly absorb just from existing, filtering, and processing everything your body sends their way, hour after hour, without ever asking for a break. It costs almost nothing, takes less than a minute to prepare, and yet it's one of those habits that compounds quietly over months and years, the kind of small daily choice that rarely feels significant in the moment, but adds up to something meaningful when you look back on it. One small caution worth knowing: if you deal with acid reflux or a sensitive stomach, keeping the lemon mild and well diluted, or sipping it slowly rather than all at once, makes this an easy habit almost anyone can build without discomfort. Simple as it seems, warm lemon water earns its spot on this list. But what's coming up at number 4 takes things in a completely different, far more surprising direction. Number 4, unsweetened cranberry juice. Say the word cranberry, and most people immediately think of the holidays, but there's a reason this tart little berry has been used for generations as a genuine ally for the urinary system. Cranberries contain unique plant compounds called proanthocyanidins, and what makes them so fascinating is their almost mechanical mode of action. Rather than simply fighting bacteria after the fact, these compounds appear to interfere with the ability of certain bacteria to latch onto the walls of the urinary tract in the first place, making it much harder for problems to take hold before they ever start. That's an entirely different strategy than most remedies, working on prevention at the structural level rather than damage control afterward, almost like changing the terrain itself rather than fighting a battle after it's already begun. For anyone prone to recurring urinary discomfort, sipping a small glass of unsweetened cranberry juice before bed, when the bladder will sit undisturbed for hours during sleep, gives those protective compounds uninterrupted time to do their quiet work overnight. Beyond that specific benefit, Cranberries are also rich in antioxidants that help calm inflammation throughout the urinary and kidney system, addressing the kind of low-grade, invisible irritation that builds up over years of ordinary wear and tear. The key word here, though, is unsweetened. Most bottled cranberry juice on grocery store shelves is loaded with added sugar, which cancels out much of the benefit and adds an unnecessary burden of its own. Look specifically for 100% cranberry juice, or dilute a small amount with water to soften the tartness, without diluting the compounds that make it worthwhile. A small adjustment that keeps the ritual enjoyable, rather than something you have to force yourself to finish. One important note: cranberries can interact with certain blood-thinning medications, so if you're on a prescription blood thinner, this is one to discuss with your doctor before adding it as a nightly habit, just to be safe. Tart, unexpected, and backed by generations of traditional use, now supported by modern research, cranberry juice earns its place at number 4. But number 3 brings something entirely different to the nightstand: a warm cup with roots stretching back centuries. Number 3, Dandelion Root Tea. If your only experience with dandelions involves pulling them out of your lawn, you're about to see this plant in a completely different light. For centuries, dandelion root has been steeped into tea and used in traditional herbal practices, specifically for its gentle diuretic properties, meaning it may encourage your body to release a bit more fluid than usual. Similar in concept to how your kidneys naturally regulate excess water, just with a little herbal encouragement behind the scenes, a tradition passed down long before modern science had the tools to explain exactly why it seemed to work. That gentle nudge can be especially useful for anyone who notices mild puffiness or water retention by the end of a long day, offering a natural way to support your body's own fluid balance overnight without reaching for anything synthetic. Beyond its traditional reputation, dandelion root contains notable antioxidant compounds that researchers have studied for their potential to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, two of the quiet, underlying forces that gradually wear down kidney tissue over the years, without ever announcing themselves through obvious symptoms until the damage has already accumulated. Dandelion tea is also naturally caffeine-free, which makes it a genuinely smart choice for a bedtime routine, unlike some herbal blends that sneak in caffeine without people realizing it, quietly undermining the very sleep they're hoping the tea will help them get. The earthy, slightly bitter flavor might take a sip or two to appreciate, but many people find that steeping it a little longer, or adding a small amount of honey, turns it into a comforting, almost ceremonial part of winding down for the night, something to look forward to, rather than just another task on the evening checklist. One caution worth mentioning: because of its diuretic effect, anyone already taking prescription diuretics, or managing an existing kidney condition, should talk to a doctor before adding dandelion tea regularly, since combining diuretic effects can sometimes go further than intended and lead to imbalances that are easy to avoid with a simple conversation beforehand. For most healthy adults looking for a gentle, traditional way to support their body's nightly reset, dandelion root tea is a quietly powerful choice. But what's coming up at number 2 might be the most soothing entry on this entire list, and for good reason. Number 2, Chamomile Tea. This one might seem like an unusual entry on a list about kidney health, until you understand just how closely connected quality sleep and kidney function actually are. Chamomile has been used for centuries as a natural way to ease the mind and body into rest, largely thanks to a compound called apigenin, which binds to specific receptors in the brain associated with relaxation and helps quiet the kind of racing thoughts that keep so many people staring at the ceiling long after the lights go out, replaying the day's stress instead of drifting off. Here's why that matters more than most people realize. Deep, uninterrupted sleep is when your body carries out much of its overnight repair work, including regulating blood pressure, balancing hormones, and giving your kidneys a genuine break from the constant demands of daytime digestion and activity that never fully lets up while you're awake. Poor sleep, on the other hand, has been linked to elevated blood pressure and increased inflammation throughout the body, both of which place additional, unnecessary strain on kidney tissue over time, quietly compounding night after night for anyone who consistently struggles to fall or stay asleep. By supporting deeper, more restorative sleep, chamomile indirectly gives your kidneys exactly what they need most: uninterrupted time to do their job properly. Beyond its calming effects, chamomile also carries meaningful antioxidant and mild anti-inflammatory properties of its own. adding a second, quieter layer of protection on top of its better-known reputation as a sleep aid. A two-for-one benefit that most people never realize they're getting. It's naturally caffeine-free, gentle on the stomach, and easy to find in nearly every grocery store across the country, making it one of the most accessible bedtime rituals on this entire list. Steep it warm, add a touch of honey if you like, and sip it slowly in the 30 minutes before you turn off the lights for the full calming effect to take hold, giving your body and mind enough time to genuinely settle before you close your eyes. One small note: chamomile belongs to the same plant family as ragweed, so anyone with known ragweed allergies should approach it with a bit of caution. Soothing, accessible, and genuinely supportive of the deep sleep your kidneys depend on, chamomile earns a well-deserved spot at number 2. But what's waiting at number 1 might be the most surprising, most overlooked drink on this entire list. Number 1. Hibiscus Tea. Vibrant, deep red, and tart in the most refreshing way, hibiscus tea has quietly earned attention from researchers for one specific reason that puts it at the very top of this list: its potential relationship with healthy blood pressure, a connection that makes it stand apart from everything else we've covered so far tonight. Hibiscus contains a striking concentration of anthocyanins, the same class of powerful antioxidant pigments responsible for its deep ruby color, and several studies have explored its connection to modest improvements in blood pressure readings when consumed regularly over time. Findings intriguing enough that hibiscus has become a genuine subject of interest in cardiovascular research circles, rather than just a folk remedy. That single detail matters enormously for kidney health, because blood pressure and kidney function are two of the most tightly linked systems in the entire human body, so closely connected that doctors often check one the moment they're concerned about the other. Your kidneys contain millions of microscopic blood vessels working around the clock to filter your blood, and consistently elevated blood pressure places continuous, grinding strain on those delicate vessels, gradually wearing down their filtering capacity over years, often without a single noticeable symptom until real damage has already occurred, which is exactly why blood pressure is sometimes called a silent threat to kidney health. A drink that may gently support healthy blood pressure, sipped consistently as part of a nightly routine, is quietly working to protect the very foundation your kidneys rely on to function properly, night after night, year after year. Beyond its blood pressure connection, hibiscus is also loaded with antioxidant activity that helps combat the oxidative stress building up in kidney tissue from ordinary, everyday metabolism. It has a naturally tart, almost cranberry-like flavor that many people find surprisingly refreshing even when served warm, and it's completely caffeine-free, making it an ideal choice for winding down at the end of the day, without any risk of disrupting the sleep you're trying to protect. One important caution: hibiscus can interact with certain medications, including some used for blood pressure and diabetes, and it's generally advised against during pregnancy, so check with your doctor before making it a regular habit if either applies to you. Unexpected, vibrant, and genuinely backed by real research into one of the most important factors in long-term kidney health, hibiscus tea takes the top spot for a reason, closing out this list on the strongest note of all. So there you have it, 5 natural bedtime drinks working quietly behind the scenes while you sleep. Warm lemon water, unsweetened cranberry juice, dandelion root tea, chamomile tea, and the surprising number 1 pick, hibiscus tea. Each one works a little differently, some through hydration and citrate, some through gentle diuretic support, some through calming the nervous system enough to unlock deeper sleep, and one through its remarkable connection to healthy blood pressure. But all 5 share the same underlying idea: supporting your kidneys doesn't have to mean anything drastic or complicated. None of these replace medical care, and if you're managing an existing kidney condition or taking prescription medication, always check with your doctor before adding any of them to your nightly routine, especially given the interactions we mentioned along the way. But for most people simply looking for a small, consistent habit that works with the body instead of against it, swapping tonight's nightcap for one of these 5 drinks is about as easy as healthy changes get. And small habits repeated night after night have a way of adding up to something much bigger over time. If this gave you something new to think about, hit like, subscribe for more science-backed health content, and tell us in the comments which one of these 5 you're trying tonight, and which one surprised you the most.